The COMELEC is working on the final touches for Monday's elections. Let's get the details from Greg Gregorio, who's reporting to us live from Manila. Hi, Greg. Good afternoon. How ready are we for Election Day? Is everything already in place?
Sean, as to the report of the Committee on Shipping and Packing headed by Commissioner Amy Ferolino, all official ballots have been deployed to all of its destinations so far, since the elections will happen in a few days or on Monday. Aside from that, the vote counting machines have already been deployed to all of its all of its hubs, which will be needed for the in preparation of the Monday's polls. Apart from that, there is an ongoing final testing and sealing across the country, and since it started on May 2, according to Commissioner Marlon Casquejo, about 355 vote counting machines have been found to be defective so far, but most of this have been repaired already, while some are still undergoing repair at their Santa Rosa warehouse. Sean?
All right, so are all vote counting machines or VCMs already functional, or are there still some units that need repair?
Yeah, Sean, there are 355 units of vote counting machines which were found to be defective during the final testing and sealing. But Commissioner Casquejo said that this is just a small number of defective vote counting machines that they have found, compared to more than 70,000 VCM units that have been subjected to final testing and sealing. Casquejo even explained that this is the purpose of the conduct of final testing and sealing, to make sure that all of our machines will be operational during the elections on Monday. Casquejo also said that should these defects would happen on May 8, there are repair hubs across the country for where the defective VCMs could be immediately sent to for immediate repair. And apart from that, we have contingency units that we can use for the conduct of elections on Monday. Sean?
All right, so aside from those contingency units that you mentioned, Greg, are there any other contingency procedures that the COMELEC has put in place should, machine issues persist?
Yeah, Sean, according to Casquejo, if a VCM unit would malfunction on a specific polling precinct on Monday, the voting will still continue as the ballots or the official ballots are still available. Casquejo said if the voting and then if the voting using a VCM from a neighboring polling precinct is already done, then they could batch feed the accomplished ballots in the other precinct where there is a malfunctioning unit of the VCM. And according to Casquejo, aside from that, they can also immediately subject the defective units for immediate repair, so that they could possibly use this unit again, or they can have contingency machine, or all of these are factored in to ensure that the elections would push through even if there will be issues like this. Sean?
All right. Now, Greg, there's also been reports going around that teachers that have been trained to handle vote counting machines in COTABATO are reportedly being replaced. Did the COMELEC have anything to say on this?
So, according to Commissioner Marlon Casquejo, they will be investigating about this matter. They will be asking a report from their local COMELEC office about the real situation on the ground in Cotabato City. But Casquejo highlighted that the trained teachers who are expected to be serving as BEI on Monday have been certified by the Department of Science and Technology. Thus, they can no longer be replaced considering that the May 9 elections is already nearing. Thus, Casquejo said the investigation would be needed so that they could act properly about this matter. And we all know that there is already a tension in in Cotabato City from between these teachers and those who will be replacing them. But Casquejo said they have deputized the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Philippine National Police to maintain the peace and security in all areas, including Cotabato City, for the conduct of the May 9 polls. Sean?
Right, and Greg, we all know that among those first to go to the polls are overseas Filipinos. How is overseas voting going so far? Are there already early numbers for the partial turnout or partial numbers with the turnout for OAV so far?
Yes, Sean, as head of the Committee on Overseas Absentee Voting or Overseas Voting, Commissioner Casquejo reported that we are now having a 23% of voting turnout from across overseas polling places, and this constitutes to around, or this is equivalent to about more than 300 votes from overseas voters. Most of this are from the Middle East and the Africa region, followed by the Asia and the Pacific. Others are from Americas and Europe. Commissioner Casquejo said that these numbers are still expected to increase as some polling places abroad are yet to report. And since we are still having an ongoing overseas voting, Casquejo also mentioned that they have released an advisory to overseas voters who will be voting via postal mail. Casquejo said if they are not receiving their postal ballot, then they can go to their embassies for them to acquire and accomplish their ballots for them to cast their votes on the May 9 polls. Sean?
All right, on other matters, Greg, we have PDP Laban being named by the COMELEC as the dominant majority party. How will this now work when we know the ruling party is divided into two factions? We have, of course, the Coco Pimentel faction and the Secretary Alfonso Cusi faction. How does the COMELEC plan to resolve this?
Sean, the COMELEC admits that they have yet to resolve the faction issue with this PDP Laban, even as they have been identified as the dominant majority party for this election. Commissioner George Garcia said they will still have to wait for the resolution of this case, maybe in the coming days or on the day of the elections, for them to identify which of this faction would receive or would be able to secure the early copy of election returns, which the VCMs will be printing initially before they would transmit the votes to the servers of the COMELEC as well as to the board of canvassers. Sean?
All right, so just to clarify, Greg, we will have an answer to that, which faction of PDP Laban is going to be the official faction by May 9 or Election Day.
Yeah, Sean, that's the same question that media threw to Commissioner Garcia, and he said we could expect a resolution from the commission until the May 9 polls. Sean?
All right, just over 3 days to go. Before then, thank you so much for all those updates. Greg Gregorio reporting to us live from Manila. Thank you, Greg.